it's run by like one person called the Hokage. He has like his police force, and they look after like the land, whatnot. And then there's like the shadow government called the Anbu Black Ops, right? So they do all the dirty work that the government can't. It's like propaganda. So that the government always
like
looks
a secret
good.
society.
And so it's like we're behind the scenes. We are the actual chess movers, and you know, That's we're happy. I'm happy being in the shadows, bro. I prefer that. I don't want the spotlight.
I think it comes down to like whatever your whatever your ego needs. I don't think it's like you're totally like sacrificing your ego. I think there's something about it that I like, that being behind the scenes, like the way that kind of makes you
different.
feel. I don't know. Yeah.
It's dope, man. It's like you get to really see what really happens. Yeah. You get to. I'm a process oriented person. Like I like to see how something can begin as an idea and then it ends up as something. Yeah. And like you only really get to see that when you're behind the scenes, because you've seen, the reiterations, the markups, the brainstorming, whatever, and then you see the end product. But most people only really see the end product. Yeah, you know what I mean? And then they're like, oh, this is, And sometimes I feel like I'm attached to that process. I fucking love it. It's just like, you never really know. You know what I mean? You're kind of taking a leap of faith before actually presenting something.
You got to have that quality as a human being, though. Just like, I don't know fully what the outcome of this is going to be, but I know this is like towards what I want. So, and you just kind of got to snatch it. People that have the ability to do that it's a good one. When did you decide that you wanted to do management or music management specifically?
For me, it came from, like, we've had a bit of chat behind the scenes with this. It was just more so, firstly, I didn't even know what I was doing to begin with, but I kind of understand like the workings of the behind the scenes. Yeah. How
business mind.
The business side of things. And I was introduced to obviously Figaro through my little brother, the housemates, and me and my little brother will be coming back from some of the events that we work at and that we run. I'm leaving him at home at 3, 4, 5 a.m. in the morning, and like as soon as the door opens, I'm hearing 808s kicking, and I'm like, are these guys partying? Whatnot. I never was curious until it was like the 3rd, 4th time, and I'm like, okay, what's really happening here? And then I see Ericy and Figaro just making beats or recording, and I'm like, okay, what's this? Got introduced to it, started listening to some of the music, and I'm like, damn, this is from Perth? You know what I mean? I'm like, wow.
You
like,
genuinely
I
had a reaction to it.
Yeah, I was like, this is dope.
Not just because that you knew them and stuff. Yeah.
And I was like, this is like I can like fuck with this personally. And I was like, dope. And then obviously over time that relationship built. I got to understand more about those two guys, and kind of just developed a relationship to a point where it came where Figaro was like, yo, look, man, like, you seem to really know what to do with the business and the marketing side. Like, I keep hearing about, Honeycut or the Manor or all of this type of stuff. Like, maybe you can help me out. And, because he
had the right mannerisms, the right energy.
The right energy. I didn't want anything from him. I didn't need anything from him. But, like, I was just like, man, I just enjoyed it.
You were passionate about the music. Like, you believed in it. That's a big thing that artists need to look for in managers. It's like, does this person really believe in what I'm doing? Because if they're just after a check, it's going to end badly for both of you. You know what I mean? Like, as a manager, you sort of have to be pretty much prepared to do a lot of work for no money.
Facts.
For probably like 2 years. And that's even like a fast amount of time.
That's if you can fast track it. Yeah. But you really got to love it, man. Like, and really, because if I don't like enjoy it, if I'm not passionate about it, I don't do it. I'm like an all or nothing. So if I was on the fence with it, I wouldn't have said yes. And me saying yes was like, damn, I need to now educate myself.
So did Figaro approach you to say, like, he said?
No, it kind of came up in conversation. And I was like, man, like, what are you guys, like, I've never heard about you guys. Like, what's up? Like, what's happening? And he's just he just doesn't understand, like, or didn't put much emphasis into it. He's just about the music. I'm like, I get that, but like, in this world, it's more than just that. So much else happens behind the scenes. You need to maintain relationships, and you have to do all of this other extra stuff, which I enjoy doing. I love connecting with people, especially if like I actually connect with them. I like to maintain the relationship, etc., etc. But yeah, it just
happened naturally.
Similar
story to myself in Mali.
Tell us a bit more about that, because I think people know that you're involved in
production. But so Mali is I started managing about in September last year. What is that? 6 months. Time is at the moment is crazy. But anyway, let's just say September last year. I started to basically started being a manager. My only artist being Mali, who I co-managed with Reese from the band Super Ego. And yeah, it's a very similar story. It came about naturally. I was introduced to Mali in 2017 by Ziggy Ramo, who used to live in Perth. Young kid, like crazy energy. Come in and like, Ziggy really could see a lot of himself in Mali, and it was just crazy. And then sort of a few years went by, and he went through going through high school and stuff, and then he approached me at the start of last year, 2019. He said, hey, we've got these songs, but we sort of need to get them to a certain level, like mix wise or production wise. And he's got his producer OJ43, who's another like young kid, just crazy.
Shout out to him.
Shout out. Produced all the Mali stuff. And I was like, yeah, cool, I'll help you guys out, because Triple J told us they really like it, but it needs to be, they need just the production quality to be better. And through doing that, I started to sort of get more involved with, this strategy, or what do you think about this? Should we do this? Because I'd been through it before, just because I'm a little bit older, and in the previous years I'd sort of gone through the industry. Then time goes by, they keep releasing music, keep using me to record and mix and stuff, and it's like really gaining some traction. These guys are like, in the Perth scene at least. And then they put out this song called Mistakes. And it lands them in basically as Triple J Unearthed High finalist. And that's just like really, really good press. Like for anyone that doesn't know, like it's a big deal. Like it's even like not even winning it. Just a shout out to George Alice, but like just getting in the finalists is like a crazy big deal. And that's when sort of the emails started flying through. Like, hey, we're from Sydney, we want to manage you. Hey, what's going on? Like, that's when all this. And when that started to happen, I just sort of thought to myself, like, I don't see any of these people sort of, like, I see myself kind of managing you. I don't see any of these other people. And Reese and I just were really close with Mali, and again, it just sort of happened naturally. I said to Reese, I was like, do you want to should we do this? And Reese he's always just like willing to be like, yep, let's give it a go. And I've actually found it like really, really rewarding.
How so?
I don't know. I like seeing people I care about win.
Facts.
Yeah, for sure.
But also I like to add to that, I like people putting in the work and not knowing when the rewards are going to come, but putting in the work anyway. Yeah. Because that's what's more rewarding when they end up winning, because it's not like it wasn't just handed out. They actually like worked for it.
Exactly. It's rewarding for me. It's just knowing that I can do that for somebody, like tickles my ego. It's not fully like, I get a kick out of it. Don't worry. I'm not fully like selfless or whatever. But I like you, as much as I like doing production and technical stuff, like I'm a big nerd, but I really like the business side of things. I like emailing. I like maintaining relationships with people, talking to booking agents, that excites me. So I think it's a good role, like what I have in that project of kind of helping just organize stuff. They can focus on the music, pump out ideas, and then I help them push it that extra 20%, and then go to Reese and be like, okay, how do we strategize this and get the most out of it? You know what I mean? I think to build a good team, it sort of needs to happen like an assembly line. You got people at the start creating it, and then you just pass it along. And that's what we started to do with the Mali project. Even now with Niche, he's signed to for booking, and Good Manners doing PR. Like we've got like really good people around us, and that stuff's really important.
I think we need to really like press on that. Yeah. Like if you're really trying to get far, you really need a team, man.
Big time.
Like, it makes life so much easier. Like, we've got Sean Fitzsimmons, Fitzy.
Yeah.
He's on board now and, you know, helping us out with a lot of, like, especially the UM stuff that happened on our end. And it's just good having someone who's been in industry, who kind of knows how to move and just does right. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and it's good to learn from and to kind of soak that.
And someone who's made mistakes. I think that's where I come in a lot with Marley, because, you know, I've been where he's been at before and done certain things that haven't, you know, I'd never want someone to, like, I hate the mentality of like, oh, you know, I went through this, so you need to go. Help each other out, man. Like, if you can see that there's a dead end at the end of that path, or, you know, or I did this and this, you know, why wouldn't you do it? You
passing on that.
Passing it on, yeah.
Because, yeah, it just
That's
helps.
important for the scene, like, for the,
Don't keep,
for the people.
There's a lot of people that try to keep, like, oh, this is, like, my secret. Or, you know what I mean? Kind of like, and it's like, we're not going to get far if only one person penetrates. We need pretty much, it's a collective thing.
Big time.
And you kind of see it happening in Sydney right now. Like, they've invested into their community and support the community, but they're also very stringent on quality control within the community. You can see, like,
touching on a good subject,
the tiers. Yeah,
exactly. There's kind of that sort of healthy competition in a way. Like, everybody's like, you know, well, I guess most people are friends with, you know, it doesn't mean you have to be super hostile to people, but at the same time, it's like someone puts out a record and you're like, oh, you know, like, we got to meet that standard. You know what I mean? That's where the quality control comes from. You know, it's good to obviously have everyone support each other and stuff, but that little bit of that, like, oh, okay, oh, I see, like, you doing your thing. Like, I'm gonna, like, put something out of that quality. Like, that's when your scene starts to, I think, to pop. Really go crazy. But
and we still have, I guess, a very infant scene and
interesting times, I guess, because now, you know, with the whole Corona stuff,
you've really seen who's
in
into
it,
their music and who really hasn't.
And I think the Corona, obviously, it's still speculation, but I'd say there's probably a lot of opportunity to come from it, because if shows are to come back, festivals are to come back, there's going to be no internationals, and there's not going to be people running off overseas and doing South by and whatnot. So Perth then doesn't seem that far away anymore. Yeah. Especially for you guys with Honeycutt, with your touring and stuff, you know.
Definitely.
You know, speculating that things hopefully in this country can come back to some normality.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got some plans coming.
Yeah.
Like, we just want to get the whole, I guess, country involved in a way. So, yeah, we'll see how things go. I won't go too much into
secrets. Yeah, you don't know when this is coming out.
Nah, not at all.
Who knows?
But, yeah, man, definitely, like, it's really going to be good for the, I guess, local creative and arts industry, because if there's no exporting and importing happening, the grassroots is really going to step up, and they're going to get a lot more exposure, and they're going to get a chance to really, I guess, shine.
And it'll be competitive, which will be
good too.
A good thing. Yeah, I'm big on that. So, yeah.
What's next? I guess. Where do you kind of see yourself, I guess, going in future with this?
Just having this conversation. I've warmed up on this one. I mean, obviously things can change. I didn't know I was going to be here 10 years ago, but it's always nice to vision things, you know.
Well, actually, before we get there, how did we get to where we
okay.
are? Yeah, for those that don't know.
Yeah. I guess a brief rundown would be, I started playing drums when I was 9. And it was just something I sort of just instantly understood. And growing up, I was sort of like somebody that really didn't get simple things like tying my shoe. Like, I really struggled with stuff. Like, my parents and my grandparents used to tell me about it. Like, they'll still tell me about it all the time. Like, there'd be like a drill at soccer training, and like I'd see like 5 kids run one way, and I'd run I just wouldn't get it and run the other way. So I really like struggled to, and I was academically like struggled at school and stuff like that. But when I sat down at the drum set and people were explaining things to me, I just got it. And I think that's what hooked me, because like I was like, oh my, I just get this. I get this music thing. And then so I played drums. And when I got to the age of 13, I was like, you know, I actually really want to do this. Is like, can I do this like as a career?
Yeah.
And luckily, because I went to a really good school, went to Wesley in South Perth, and my teachers were like really supportive of like, yo, yeah, you can do this. Like, this is a few options path, you know. So they really inspired me. And then as I got into high school, I sort of picked up production. Got really into this guy called Questlove from The Roots.
Ooh,
and he opened my mind up to, you don't just have to be like a drummer, or you can learn to do a multitude of things in the music industry. And I think that's, once I've grasped that, it was, I went crazy. And then I've just been coming up in the scene, working with different artists, different projects, and now 5 years later, out of school. So 5 years since I left. So you know, 5 years of like, you know, over 8 hours a day of just on music, you know. I guess that's got to get you somewhere.
Facts.
Hopefully.
It's a full-time job.
And yeah, and then so I guess for the future, at the moment, I guess what I'd really like is I'd really like to just work with my friends. Like, that would be amazing. And so my concept behind that is kind of possibly like owning a label, or sort of like what Future Classic has done, where they can kind of like control the creative process. And I really enjoy, I think I tell people I work in artist development, which I truly think I do. It's like a really fun thing for me, like taking something like someone's demo or whatever, and then like getting it to a certain quality, and then help marketing them. That's like artist development to me. So if I could do that on like a big scale, I think that's kind of like the future for me. So I just need to keep on writing songs, working on production, and then just learning more about the industry, more conversations. But yeah,
given that you do get into that space later on, how are you gonna pick and choose who you work with? Are you only gonna?
I do now.
You do now.
Hugely, and that's going back to quality control. That's kind of what it's about. Like, yeah, everybody should be picky who they work with. You should never be working with someone because it's like on some clout shit, or like I'd never do, or I need to be working. Like, it's about like, it's about the music. You're gonna make good music together. Do you like this person? Can you connect? Can you connect is a huge one, especially for producers out there. Like, that's, if you want to be like turn into a real producer, not just like a beat maker or something, learn how to like connect with the artist and make them feel really comfortable, and that's a huge part of it.
And I also feel, touching on that, having like, for any, I guess, artists or you know, future, current, present, having a sound and having that relationship with the producer can really elevate, hugely, I guess, your art.
It's a vulnerable thing to do, like make music with somebody. Like, it can be really awkward if someone comes in and it's like starts like playing the guitar at you. I was like, oh, you want to jump in and do, like, you kind of got to sit down and have a convo first and sort of like ease into it. It's a vulnerable, intimate like experience.
Like,
so yeah,
touch more on that. I don't play any instruments,
okay.
So like I don't.
Well, like
I'm usually an observer, so I kind of know what you mean.
Yeah. I don't know if I can pinpoint why exactly but it's just like when you go in, you're sort of opening up to somebody. Like when you're saying things into the mic, like you're giving someone lyrics, you're giving someone your story. If you don't know that person or you feel uncomfortable with them, it's like the best music is always when it's just flowing out of you. You're not like thinking too hard about it. Like when I sit down to make a beat or whatever, I'm not like, and I don't know, this could be different for other people. Like some people may be like, oh, I've got this specific melody in my head. I actually just sort of stop thinking and like just sort of let it come out of me. Like there's a lot of work to do to get to that place. Obviously you got to know how to use the tools to be able to do that. So you got to learn like Ableton or whatever your DAW is, maybe learn an instrument or something. But because I've worked hard on having the tools, now I can just let go when I create. And I think that's when you can actually start making good art. But everybody's different, so that's just my experience.
What's your creative process? Like, let's say you're tackling from a producer. Let's say you're just producing a song, or
just from scratch. Yeah.
Or you have an idea that comes to you. How do you go about it? Like, do you start with drums? Do you go melodies? Like, or does it differ?
So I don't start with an idea. I start with a feeling, right? So I actually like translate that feeling. That's all it is. Like I don't really sit down and make stuff anymore unless I have that. And I know it sort of comes and goes. There's things you can do to like enhance it, but I'm not like, oh, I've got this melody in my head and it's more of a feel. I've got, okay, I want to make music. I've got this feeling. I'm feeling this way. And then I just make the music match the feeling, or let the feeling take over the music. That sounds so corny, but I swear to God, that's how it is.
No. I, as an observer, right, I've been in a few sessions when like Figaro or some of his homies are working on something, and I hear that a lot. It's like, nah, that doesn't feel right. It's not more so it sounds like it'll sound good, but like they'll scratch something because it doesn't feel right.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. I totally get that.
Now like
that's a good sign though. That's a good sign, because some artists in the early days, they like make, and everything they make, they're just like, because they've made it, they think they kind of like almost trick themselves into liking it. So they don't let themselves sort of progress. But if you're at the stage where you're like, I know it's dope, but I just don't feel it, like, that means you're making enough music to like, that's
repetition's cool. Important.
Yes.
Important.
It's a craft, man. It's like anything. It's like learning how to do anything. You really have to, if you can, and everybody's got different lives, but as much as you can do it, do it. Damn.
How are we going on time?
I mean, we took a while to get into it, so we can just,
What's next?
You got anything on there?
Man, we kind of covered everything already.
Kind of covered everything?
Yeah.
Maybe just ask you one more thing. Yeah, maybe I'll just reverse that on you. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Damn. Honestly, I don't really know, bro.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just winging it and going with it. It's everything's uncertain right now. Like with the whole Corona situation and how that's going to change the whole events game.
Yeah.
And prior to it, we had a plan. We had a few shows, a few international acts lined up for the whole year. Like, this was going to be a really big calendar for us. And that kind of was scratched before it could even begin.
How crazy. And what did that do to you? Because for me, I had a day where I was like, I had a day. Like, I remember it specifically because my mum was like, what is wrong with you? And I was just like, I was just flat, man, because I was like, dude, what the?
Like, you're like, oh my word.
Everything washed away, but then I just let myself feel what I needed to feel.
That's important.
I'm not going to force myself to be like, And
Jumpy
then the perspective came back. Oh, I'm not dying on the street. I live a very comfortable life, like, and my everything just came back. I think that was for me. But how did it make you feel?
It took, honestly, one thing that I did. It took me like a week to kind of get like over it. Because we had invested so much time.
Events would be tough. Man, it's different for me. I still got the studio. And
like,
it's a bit different.
And we were actually one of the first. We had Jared Jackson and Full Crate. They were meant to fly in literally 2 days after they blocked international borders.
Wow.
So everything was kind of on ice.
Stressful.
We didn't know he was meant to go to the airport that day, and like we were just on edge, and then we were like, nah, it's not worth it. Like, it's not, like, don't stress it. We'll talk to Qantas and whatever, and then straight after we decided that the government's like, no, borders are closed, whatever, and then it was stressful at the time, but like, at the same time, you understand, like, it's bigger than just yourself.
How do you go in those situations, like, not only just stressful ones, but in situations where it's kind of confrontational? Because I'm sure you have them, like, when someone tries to do, like, you have to, like, get something, you have to push to get something done, and it's stressful. How do you go,
for me, man,
go about that?
I'm pretty, like, a lot of people that I work with now, I'm pretty upfront. I'm not.
Which is a big.
That's just how I was raised. My mum and dad were always like, look, if something makes you feel some type of way, always go and be like, look, I might be wrong and making an assumption about this, but this made me feel this way.
Good communication.
Oh man, it's
which is
important.
like a big skill that is like,
And then so when it comes to like even, you know, Dave and Tabs, when they work with me, I'm glad to work with guys that understand how I am. I'm pretty blunt. Like, I'll be like, yeah, yes or no. Like, and then I'll explain why, but I might not always say it in the most nicest way. Like, I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste my time, so I'm just kind of gonna cut to the chase. And,
yeah, I think that's how we're very similar. Like, I'd consider myself a nice guy. Everyone watching is like, no. But yeah, back to time wasting thing. I had this bit of a spiel on my Instagram about this. About like, just, you don't have to be like being polite and stuff is good in the right situation. But sometimes when you're just working, you're getting stuff done. It's just like the bluntness, just the affirmation. It's just got to be like,
yeah.
You got to be certain about stuff.
And this is also like when it comes back to being behind the scenes, like you kind of see how like you have to do that to get shit done.
Yeah, yeah.
Like otherwise nothing gets done.
Yeah,
and people will not make you a priority. They might not think you're really serious about what you're doing. Like you kind of have to be proactive and make sure things get done, and you can't wait for things to
dance
come
around
to you.
And stuff. Yeah.
So it's really about how you go about it and just communicating your message effectively. And I should be a lot nicer, but
I think you are, man. But it's just in certain situations when I'm recording people, it's just like very blunt and
because it's work.
Yeah,
it's
work,
different, man. When it's work, it's like we're here to get a job done.
Yeah.
And like you expect this from me, and I expect this from you in return. Like it's really. I like to be communicative of like clear cut, like this is what we're going to do. This is what I'm going to expect for you to do. And you should expect this much from me. If I lack, by all means, please call me out.
Yeah.
Because like we all get like that. Sometimes, we have other things going on and might forget, commitments or whatnot.
I think the root of a lot of people's like the problems is just communication, even between artists and stuff like that. You might think something about something, and it's not really the case. So having good communication is the key. But yeah, man.
What else we got on here?
So we just wrap it up.
Wrap it up, man. If you guys have any questions or have enjoyed our conversations,
want stuff for us to cover,
or have things for us to cover, whether it's the production side of things, artist management, events, I'm pretty free and to reach out to, and we can make a time and chat if you have any questions, or if you want us to address it,
we can address it here. Cool. I'm J-Cal.
I'm Ashmaz, and we're just chilling.